Hello everyone, this subject that I will be discussing is analog circuits, and this is the second lecture of this subject. In the previous lecture I have discussed about the basics of diode circuits, and I had started the introduction to the rectifiers. In the same continuation I will be discussing the more details about the rectifier circuits based upon diodes. Half wave rectifier, about this I have discussed in the previous lecture. Today we will have an overview of this half wave rectifier. This is the circuit diagram for half wave rectifier. AC supply is connected to the diode and we have a load resistance RL. So we have seen in previous lecture that the positive half cycle will make this diode forward bias, and as this diode is forward bias, it will conduct a current I and we will have some voltage across this load resistance RL. So that is shown here in the figure. This is the input. That input, in the positive half cycle of the input, you can see we are getting the output during the positive half cycle of the input. What happens in the negative half cycle? In the negative half cycle, this diode becomes reverse biased and there will be no flow of current when it is reverse biased. So in the reverse bias we are not getting any current or the voltage. So this is the representation here. I have not defined that it is current or voltage. We will get the same type of representations for voltage as well as for current. If we are measuring voltage across it and the current flowing through this circuit is 0, then obviously this voltage we will be having 0 value, and current flowing, if it is 0, then it will not be represented in the negative half cycle of this half wave rectifier. This we have seen that how it is working. For positive half cycle we are getting output, and for the negative cycle we are not getting any output voltage or the current, because in that case this diode will be reverse bias. Similarly, we can connect this diode in this way so that we can get the negative cycle of the input, and here the positive part of the cycle will be clipped off. How we can do this? Here you can see I have reversed the polarity of this diode. Now when the negative cycle of the input will appear, so this will be negative and this will become positive. For the negative half cycle, this diode will be forward biased. So when it is forward biased, it will allow the flow of current. So during this cycle we will get the negative value of the output voltage and the positive will get clipped off. So half wave rectifier, different parameters of the half wave rectifier are peak inverse voltage, peak current or the average DC current of the diode, DC output voltage, AC current or the AC voltage, that we define in terms of root mean square value of the current, and the voltage, that is root mean square value of the voltage. Then we will see what is ripple factor and rectification efficiency of a half wave rectifier. First, coming to the peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage is the maximum voltage that a rectifying diode can withstand when it is reverse biased. So when any diode is reverse biased, some voltage will appear across it, and that voltage is termed as the peak inverse voltage of the diode. So we should bias any diode such that its voltage across the reverse biasing should not go beyond the PIV of that particular diode. So how we can calculate peak current and the average DC current of the diode? We have seen that the current I is flowing through any of the forward bias PN diode. So here I have taken that current as Im sin alpha, that is varying sinusoidally. So, we can define that sinusoidal pulse. So, with this representation I have taken the value from 0 to pi. So, if it is 0, pi and 2 pi. So, the cycle complete is 2 pi and it is having some value in 0 to pi, and in pi to 2 pi its value is negative. So, as we are discussing about the half wave rectifier, and we have seen that the output of the half wave rectifier will contain any of the part, either positive or the negative, depending upon the polarity of diode and the polarity of the voltage. So, the output will look like a positive pulse, or we can have a negative pulse. So, considering that the diode is forward biased such that we are getting the output for the positive half cycle of the input. So, here alpha I have taken as alpha is equal to omega t. So, the maximum current we can define as V by R. V is Vm, that is the maximum voltage across the load, and the load resistance plus the forward resistance of the diode. So, if we consider the case that Rf is 0, then we can write it as Vm upon RL, considering that Rf is 0. So, this is the maximum value of current that is flowing through the half wave rectifier circuit. The next is average value of the periodic function, that is sine wave that we have taken. We can calculate it as IDC, or we can say it is a average value of the current. So, here you can see I have written 1 upon 2 pi 0 to 2 pi I of I d alpha. So, that is average value, the total current I that is being integrated from 0 to 2 pi and divided by the complete cycle 2 pi. So, the total current divided by the total cycle will give the average current or the DC current, and that comes out to be Im upon pi. So, how we can get this expression? We can simply integrate this 1 upon 2 pi, and we have seen that the output for half wave rectifier exists for half of the cycle. So, that half cycle is 0 to pi. For 0 to 2 pi we do not have the output. So, we can write it as using this 1 upon 2 pi 0 to pi I of d alpha plus 1 upon 2 pi pi to 2 pi I d alpha. So, in the duration pi to 2 pi we have seen that the function is 0. So, this term is 0. So, we need to integrate 1 upon 2 pi 0 to pi I of d alpha. When we integrate this, we get this expression Im upon pi. So, it will give 1 upon 2 pi 0 to pi. I am replacing with Im sin alpha. So, I am writing it as Im sin alpha, and when we integrate it we get 1 upon 2 pi multiplied by Im, and sin alpha will give us minus of cos alpha with the limits 0 to pi. So, when we put the value of this cos alpha, we get 1 upon 2 pi Im minus cos pi minus cos 0, and simplifying this we get this value as Im upon pi. So, this is the average value or the DC value of current flowing through the half wave rectifier. Now, how we can find the DC voltage output? As we have calculated the DC current, so we can find the DC voltage by multiplying it with the load resistance RL. So, the DC output voltage is the voltage that is appearing across the load resistance RL. So, IDC we have calculated, it is Im upon pi. So, we can write VDC as Im upon pi into RL. Next is AC current or the AC voltage. As we have seen that the output of the diode, either voltage or current, that is we are saying it is a DC. This DC is containing some AC component also, that we will see in detail later. So, we need to find that AC current also. So, that AC current is termed as root mean square value of the current or the AC component of the current and voltage. As name suggests, it is root mean square. So, I have written square of the current I square, its mean, it is integrated and divided by 2 pi, then complete taken as root. So, I square, that is square of current and its mean value taken root. So, it will give root mean square value of the current. Now, we can calculate this in the simple manner by putting the current equation that we have taken as sinusoidal pulse, that is Im sin alpha. So, I have placed that value Im sin alpha as it is square. So, it became I square m sin square alpha 1 upon 2 pi. Here you can see the limit is pi because the signal is existing for only pi duration. For pi to 2 pi it is 0. So, I have made the limit 1 upon 2 pi 0 to pi Im square sin square alpha d alpha whole 1 by 2. So, we can simplify it 1 upon 2 pi 0 to pi Im square, and we can write this sin square alpha as 1 minus cos 2 alpha by 2 d alpha whole raised to the power 1 by 2. Integrating this part, we will get the value of IRMS as Im by 2. So, let me solve it further. Taking this Im square out of this integration as it is independent, 2 pi, limit is 0 to pi, and we have 1 minus cos 2 alpha upon 2. Again taking 2 common, I can write it as 4 pi, and in integration I will be having 1 minus, here d alpha will also be there. So, 1 minus cos 2 alpha into d alpha, limits will be 0 to pi. So, this will give us Im square by 2, 4 pi, and integrating this one we get alpha and its limits will be 0 to pi minus cos 2 alpha will give us sin 2 alpha by 2 with the limits 0 to pi, and complete is given by 1 by root 2. So, simplifying this we get this value as Im by 2. So, this gives the RMS value of current, and RMS value of current for half wave rectifier we get as Im by 2. Similarly, we can get the RMS value of the voltage. RMS value of the voltage will be Vm by root 2. In the similar way as I have calculated IRMS, we can find Vrms by taking this equation for the voltage. Vrms will be 1 upon 2 pi 0 to 2 pi V square d alpha. Putting the value of V here as Vm sin alpha, we will get this Vm square sin square alpha, and integrating this will give us Vrms value as Vm by 2. Then the next important factor related to the rectifiers is ripple factor. What is ripple factor? As I told that as the half wave rectifier is converting a AC signal into a DC signal. So, when it converts a AC signal into DC signal, that DC signal is containing some AC component also. So, the amount of that AC component is being defined by the ripple factor. So, that AC component that is present with the DC is called as the ripple into the signal. So, ripple factor can be defined as RMS value of AC component available in the rectifier output to the average value of DC output. So, RMS value of the AC component and the average value that we have seen, we can take the ratio of these two to get the ripple factor. So, here you can see IAC upon IDC, that is 1 upon IDC. IAC is represented as IRMS square minus IDC square root. So, putting these value, we get the ripple factor for half wave rectifier as 1.21. Then next is rectification efficiency, that how a half wave rectifier can rectify the input signal to get a rectified output. So, efficiency is defined as output DC power to the PAC, that is AC power. So, power we all know that it is I square into R. So, PDC we can calculate by taking the DC current IDC square multiplied by load resistance RL. IDC we have calculated in the previous discussion. IDC is Im upon pi for half wave rectifier. So, putting that value, Im square by pi square into RL will give us DC power. PAC, that is IRMS square. Why we are taking RMS? Because this RMS value of current is defining the AC component of current of the half wave rectifier. So, IRMS square RL plus RF, that is the forward resistance of the diode, and putting the value we get Im square by 4 RL plus RF. So, taking this ratio we get 4 by pi square RL upon RF plus RL. So, the maximum efficiency for an half wave rectifier we get around 40%, that we can calculate this value by putting the value of resistance for the specific circuit. Half wave rectifier with capacitor filter. As I told you that when we are rectifying the input signal to get the rectified output at the output terminal of the half wave rectifier, we get a output that is containing some AC component along with the DC component of the input. So, in some application we need the input to be in rectified form. We do not want any AC component associated with the DC. So, for that we use capacitor filter. That capacitor filter filters out the AC component of the output that is appearing across this load resistance. So, if you recall, this is our half wave rectifier circuit. We are having input from this side, this is the diode and this is the load resistance across which we were taking the output, and that output was a half wave rectified output with some AC components. Now, we will see that how this capacitor filter can rectify the AC component of the output. Here one capacitance is connected. So, what will happen for the positive half cycle when this diode is forward bias? It is forward bias, there will be flow of current and this capacitor will start charging. So, here you can see this is the output that is shown by red color. So, here in this the capacitor will start charging. So, it will charge for the positive half cycle. When the negative cycle appears here, so this diode will become open circuit and no current will flow. So, in that duration, that is the negative cycle, this diode will get discharged. Again, when positive cycle comes, it will start charging and this will keep on going with the cycles. So, we get the output like this, discharging, then charging and discharging. So, initially the output that was having more ripples like this will now be reduced. It will be having this type of DC that is appearing across the output. So, using this capacitor filter, we can reduce the AC component, we can filter out the AC component of the output of half wave rectifier. So, using the capacitor filter, we get more accurate DC output for any rectifier circuit. We have different advantages of half wave rectifier circuit. As we have seen its circuit, we are using only one diode here. So, it is cost effective, it is very simple, easy to use, and as we are using only single diode, so it is area wise, it is efficiently compact designed circuit that uses only one diode. Along with the advantages, as with all other circuits, it is having some disadvantages. As we have seen, the output of half wave rectifier contains positive cycle, then again a positive cycle will appear. So, there are more ripples in the output of the half wave rectifier. Harmonics are generated and its efficiency is also less. So, now we will see some more type of rectifiers. Those are more efficient, more advantageous as compared to this half wave rectifier. Different applications of half wave rectifier, we can use it for the power rectification, signal demodulation and signal peak detection. Full wave rectifier, we have two type of full wave rectifier that we have discussed in the previous lecture. One is center tap full wave rectifier and another one is bridge rectifier. So, we will discuss about both the full wave rectifiers and we will also see the different features of center tap rectifier as well as bridge rectifier. Full wave rectifier, it rectifies the full wave of the input. Full wave means for the complete cycle it provides the rectification. Here in the diagram I have tried to represent the full rectification. If I represent it with T1, T2 and T3, here in this figure T1, T2 and T3. So, here you can see we are getting output for T1 to T2, that is positive cycle, as well as for T2 to T3, that is the negative cycle of the input. So, this was not so in the previous rectifier, that is half wave rectifier. In half wave rectifier we were getting output for only one half of the cycle, either positive half cycle or the negative half cycle. But in full wave rectifier we get the output for both the cycles. So, the advantage of the full wave rectifier is that we get less ripples in the full wave center tap rectifier as well as in bridge rectifier. So, one by one I will be discussing both the full wave rectifier circuits. This is the diagram representing center tap full wave rectifier. Why it is called center tap? Because here in the windings we make a center tapping to connect this load resistance. So, it is called a center tap full wave rectifier. This is the circuit, AC input that is provided through this transformer, and here we have diode. If I name it the terminal A, B and C. So, between at the A we get the connected the diode D1, at node B we have connected another diode D2, and the load resistance is connected at the center tapping of the transformer. So, here we have two diodes D1 and D2 and one load resistance RL. So, now we will see that how this center tap rectifier works. What happens in the positive half cycle? Here you can see this is positive half cycle appearing. So, in the positive half cycle this will be plus and minus. Positive half cycle is appearing here. So, positive, negative, then a positive and negative, because we have provided a center tapping to the secondary of the transformer. So, when the positive cycle appears, this diode D1 will be forward biased and diode D2, as it is connected to the negative side, this is P and N. So, this diode will be reverse biased. As it is reverse biased, so it will act as open circuit, and this moving circle is showing the direction of flow of current. Input cycle, that is positive. So, this diode will be on and current will follow this path towards the load resistance, and we get the positive cycle at the output, because here the current is flowing through diode D1. So, there will be voltage across this resistance RL. So, that is represented here. So, for the positive input cycle, diode D1 conducts, it is acting as a closed circuit, diode D2 is open. So, the current will flow through this path and we get the output for the positive cycle. What happens when the negative cycle of the input appears? So, when the negative cycle of the input appears, Here we have negative, positive, then negative and positive. So, this is P, N, P and N. So, now this P is connected to the negative side. So, this diode will be reverse biased, and now the diode D2 is forward biased. So, it is reverse biased, so it will be acting as a open circuit. So, now the current will follow this path flowing here and reaching to the load resistance, and there will be some voltage across this load resistance. So, that voltage is represented here. So, this we have got for the positive cycle, and this output we are getting for the negative cycle of input. So, in this way we get the output voltage and the output current for the both of the cycles of the input. So, that is the reason it is called as full wave rectification. It is rectifying the complete wave of the input cycle from 0 to 2 pi. And full wave, center tap, full wave, it is providing output for complete wave, and there is center tapping at the transformer. So, the complete name of this rectifier is full wave center tap rectifier. Next is full wave bridge rectifier. In the full wave bridge rectifier, we have 4 diodes D1, D2, D3 and D4. So, these are connected in series pairs, D1, D2, D3 and D4. So, in this bridge rectifier, how this name is given bridge? Because these are connected in the form of bridge. In this, 2 diodes will conduct at a time and 2 diodes will be in off mode. Similar to the full wave center tap rectifier, in this rectifier also we get the output for the complete cycle. If I am taking it as 2 pi sine wave, so we get the output for the complete cycle. Bridge rectifier for the positive cycle. So, here when the positive cycle appears, this is positive and negative. So, this is the P of this diode, N, P, N. So, here we can see positive of this node is connected to the positive of diode D1 and positive of diode D2. So, these 2 diodes will be forward biased and D3 and D4 will be reverse biased. So, current will follow this path and there will be an output voltage with the flow of this current I. So, we get this output for the positive half cycle with the conduction of diode D1 and D2. So, what happens when the negative cycle appears? For the negative cycle of the input, here we have negative and positive. Now, this diode P and N, P and N side. Now, this negative is connected to the N side of the diode and positive is connected to the P side of the diode. So, this diode will be forward biased. Similarly, this diode will also be forward biased and current will follow this path and there will be voltage appearing across this load resistance. So, this will be the output for the negative cycle of the input. And this will be for the positive cycle of the input. So, in the bridge wave rectifier, bridge full wave rectifier, 2 diode conducts at a time. So, here this output we are getting with D3 and D4. 4. So, comparing this with the previous one, in that we were having 2 diodes, here we are having 4 diodes. So, in the same continuation, I will continue in the next lecture with some more details about the full wave rectifier. Thank you.